Guys, so today I'll be showing you how I take neat and effective notes on my iPad Pro using Goodnotes 5. I'll share my notebook and pen settings, how I structure my notes, how I create and add mind maps and custom titles, and I'll also talk about a hack I've been using to take notes in dark mode. Before we start, I quickly want to thank Paperlike, who's sponsoring today's video. You'll hear more about them towards the end of the video, and with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. As I just mentioned in the intro, the app that I like to use for taking my notes is Goodnotes 5. I personally think that it was worth every single dollar that I paid for it, and I love it so much. So in Goodnotes 5, you can either create notebooks or folders, and I have a few different folders because I use Goodnotes for different things, and one of them is the school folder, and that's where I keep all of my notebooks for my subjects. I like to create a separate subject. What am I saying? I like to create a separate notebook for each one of my subjects, and you guys can see the settings on the screen. I use squared paper in the letter size, and then I just write the subject name and create the notebook. Recently, I learned that creating custom covers for notebooks is actually a lot easier than I thought, so I'm going to quickly show you guys how I did that. So first of all, you just want to open up the notebook and then export one of the pages as an image, just so you have the exact size of the page, so you can make the cover and not mess up the size or anything. And then you can use different apps in order to add a background and add some text. I personally used Procreate because I'm just used to this app and it was just easy for me to use. And then I just downloaded a wallpaper from Pinterest and resized it to fit the page. And then at this point, you can either go ahead and do like a really cool calligraphy or something if you're good with that. But I hate my handwriting personally, so I instead just used a font and saved the image to my photo library. Once you're back in Goodnotes, you want to click the little icon at the top left corner, select before and then image, and select your new cover. Now it will basically add the cover as the first page of the notebook, and if you go back, you'll be able to see that as the cover as well. The only thing left to do is to just delete the other cover provided by Goodnotes, and you're good to go. Now you have a super beautiful cover for your notebook. In this next section, I'm going to talk about my note-taking style, settings, and structure. So when taking notes, I usually use the ball pen, and then I use the 0.5 size for text, 1.2 size for headings, and then 0.8 size for subheadings or anything that I want to write in bold. Obviously, the first thing I gotta do when taking notes is write the title. Sometimes I'll handwrite that, other times I'll go ahead and use the type tool in Goodnotes 5. It has been improved quite a lot. You can add a background, a border, a shadow, and there are quite a few settings that can help you create a decent title, but a lot of the time I'll actually create a custom title from another app and then just import that into Goodnotes. I'll show you guys how to do that in a minute. I just want to really cover the basics first and then move on to the fancy stuff later on. Once the title is done, I'll start taking the actual notes, and I personally take notes in bullet points so that I can break down the information, because later on when I study my notes, it's just like a lot easier to remember them that way. And here are what my styles for bullet points look like. Whenever I need to bring an example, I use an arrow, and then whenever I need to number something, this is the style that I use. Basically, I just write the number with the highlighter tool in a very big font, just so it really stands out on the page, instead of just like writing a small number and not having it stand out at all. And I think it looks really cool. Whenever I need to write down something important, I'll create a little square and then put 2 exclamation marks inside it, and this is basically my symbol for important notes. I always try to make my notes as visual as possible, so if I can, I'll include charts, diagrams, like cycles, anything that's visual, because first of all, I'm a visual learner, and also, even if I wasn't a visual learner, learning your notes when the information is broken down and isn't a big chunk of text is like always easier. I also love using the fill color option in the shapes tool, and what that does is basically add a background to any shape you create, and I use that to create kind of like sticky notes and emphasize important information on the page because it kind of highlights the entire thing. Whenever I make a mistake when taking notes, I first of all double tap on my Apple Pencil, and then I just erase whatever I need to erase, and then as soon as I lift up my pencil, I can start writing again. So in order to do this, you first of all need the Apple Pencil second generation so that you can double tap and change between the pen and the eraser easily without having to do that manually, since that's not available on the first generation Apple Pencil. Then you need to go into the eraser tool and turn on the auto deselect feature, and what this basically does is that after you use the eraser and lift up the pen, it'll switch to pen mode automatically. Instead of just telling you how I take notes, in this next section of the video, I wanted to show you guys how I actually take notes. And originally, I wanted to do a time lapse, but the past Ellen that was filming this video decided to change the camera angles every 3 seconds. So this is what you're getting instead. I hope that you'll still enjoy watching it. And this is basically what a typical page of notes looks like for me. So the title for this page of notes was custom made, and I made that using an app called Over. Firstly, you want to click the plus sign at the bottom, select transparent, and then choose whatever canvas size you want. And then you just want to choose the text tool and type whatever your title is. And in the app, there are a lot of different fonts that you can choose from. So go ahead and look at all of them and find one that you like. And then once you're happy with it, export it, click more, and then copy. This is super important because this will basically allow you to paste the graphic directly in Goodnotes 5 without having to save it to your photos, and this will save you storage. It's just faster and less annoying, so I totally recommend that you do this. I know it sounds like it will take a lot of time, but it just takes like 2 seconds. A lot of the time when I'm taking notes, I need to add mind maps or visual things that are just not that easy to create in Goodnotes 5 and would take a lot of time. So for this kinds of situations, I use an app called Xmind. This is specifically an app made for creating mind maps, and there are so many different customization options here: layouts, fonts, colors, shapes, sizes, everything. And I don't want to spend 40 minutes every single time customizing my mind map. So what I did is that I basically customize one of my mind maps and save that as a template. And now every single time I need to create another one, I just duplicate the template and then I just change the text and the layout according to whatever mind map I'm trying to create. And this also really helps me kind of keep my style of mind maps and just overall my notes consistent. Once you're done, you just want to share that as an image and then save it to your photos library, and you're pretty much done. But I like to go a step further and use an app called Magic Eraser to erase the background of any image or mind map that I upload to Goodnotes 5. So you just want to tap once to delete the background, and then I also use the manual eraser to get rid of the watermark, and then I just save it with a transparent background in high resolution, and then I can import that in Goodnotes 5. And as you can see, the white block behind the mind map is gone and it's completely transparent and looks amazing. And that literally took me like 2 seconds to make. And that's pretty much how I add visuals such as mind maps, diagrams, and even screenshots from my textbook into Goodnotes 5. Whenever I can, I always try to use dark mode in applications because it reduces eye strain, and thanks to it, my eyes don't get tired as easily. However, in Goodnotes 5, there isn't really a dark mode. The only option you have is to use dark paper, but with dark paper, you can't really use shapes with colored backgrounds or highlighters because they don't really look good and aren't really effective in this setting. The only thing you can do is to use colored pens that have bright colors. However, this kind of gives your notes a very neon look, which is not something I'm going for. Also, if you plan to print your notes, then using dark paper is probably not the best option. So what I like to do instead is have a white notebook with black text, and then I go into setting, display, and text size in the accessibility menu and turn on smart invert. And this basically inverts the colors of the iPad screen, and this doesn't really change anything in Goodnotes 5. It just changes the colors that you see on the screen, which means that the background turns black and the text turns white, which is really cool. And this way you can take notes. Dark mode is amazing because it reduces blue light, eye strain, and it also minimizes glare and helps you save some of your iPad battery. I don't know if you remember, but the colors of highlighters that I had were pink and yellow. As you can see, they now look blue and green, which are kind of the inverted colors, but that's okay because once you turn this mode off, they'll be back to normal and everything will look good. If you are planning to use this mode a lot like I am, then I have a little tip for you. You can go to settings, accessibility shortcut, and turn on smart invert, and now every time you triple tap the button on your iPad, it'll turn this setting on and off, which means that you won't even have to leave the Goodnotes app to control this setting, and it's just super convenient this way. So when it comes to printing my notes, until about 5 months ago, I never even considered printing them. However, now that all of my classes are online and I have to stare at a screen pretty much all day long, I tried printing them for this video, and I actually really liked how they turned out. I like the size of everything and just the overall layout, so I might actually start printing them for the time being. Lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about Paperlike, the sponsor of today's video. If you guys don't have a screen protector on your iPad, or the one you have has a bad quality and is damaging your Apple Pencil, then you should definitely check out Paperlike. Their matte screen protector feels and sounds like you're writing on paper, which is really nice, and it also adds a bit of resistance between the tip and the screen, and thanks to that, you get more control of the Apple Pencil and your handwriting looks less messy. It also reduces fingerprints and glare and is friendly to the Apple Pencil's tip. I've been using mine for over 7 months now, and the tip of the Apple Pencil hasn't been damaged at all. Paperlike ships worldwide for free, so if you're interested in checking them out, the link will be in the description box below. Before we end this video, question of the day, let me know in the comments down below if you guys prefer rainy days or sunny days. Personally, I'm definitely a sunny day person because sunshine just cheers me up and makes me feel really energetic, but I know everybody is different, so comment what types of days you like in the comments down below. Subscribe and turn on your notifications if you haven't already, and make sure to have an amazing day. I'll see you super soon in my next video. Bye!